So, hi, I'm John. My idea is a web application that's basically a game that helps you build habits. The sort of things that you wish you were doing every day, but have trouble getting yourself to do, or you tend to blow it off, or you forget about it. For me, the big thing that sort of instigated it, like my itch that I needed to scratch with this, was I like to meditate, and I'm really into it. It really makes me feel pretty wonderful, but I had trouble getting myself to do it every day, even though I loved it so much, and I didn't quite understand why that was, and I wanted to do something about it. So I developed a sort of little system just for myself, like on a piece of paper up on my wall, but that turned into a spreadsheet with like a bunch of formulas and stuff, and then I did that at work. I probably should have been working, but I did that. And then a couple of my friends thought that was a cool idea, and I ended up with like 25 of my friends doing this thing along with me, and I turned it into sort of a gamey thing, like World of Warcraft with XP and leveling up and everything, but instead of like flushing your life down the toilet, you make your actual life better. And like, you know, whenever anyone would level up, we would all take them out for a beer, because we were sort of doing it like in this dirty way with this spreadsheet. But enough people said you should make that into a thing that's like an actual thing that I thought I would, and that got me looking into this whole startup and entrepreneurship area, and I sort of caught the bug, and so now I want to make this. So that is the idea. And I know that this name is already taken, but I want to take it anyway. I would call it Level Up, which is, yeah, Google. So it would be called Level Up, and that's basically what it is. You choose the things that you wish you were working on. For me, it's meditation. For some people, it might be going to the gym, or even small things like taking out the trash, or whatever. Just something that you wish you were doing regularly, that you want to just be like part of the fabric of your life. So not like a to-do list, you know, not get the groceries, okay, I got the groceries, check it off. But for the next month, I want to grind on doing this every day until it's automatic, until it doesn't need to be on my little Level Up screen anymore. And I can take it off and put something else on. And just habit by habit, just keep adding these great things into your life. So that is the idea, and I would welcome feedback from anyone.
Can you compete with your friends?
I think that would be pretty key, right? I think there needs to be a social element. The social element really made it. So there were a couple, when I was doing it by myself, it was like okay, but it wasn't working that well. There were a couple tweaks that I made right around the time that I made it social with my friends that really just changed how effective it was. It was helping, but then when I got to a certain point, it really became like I meditate every day now. It just fixed my problem. And that was a source of unbelievable frustration for me. So that it's solved now, although I immediately took it for granted, right? Because I was meditating every day, I was like, well, okay. But I think that it needs to be sort of competing in a healthy way with your friends and congratulating each other. And I think it should be, you should be able to set it up in some way where you can get notified when your friends do something great or something not so great, so you can give them a hard time about it.
So for the achievement, when you started meditating every day, like you won, right? Is there a way you can kind of communicate that out in your peers and maybe validate that you're doing this?
Oh, so are you talking about the question of like proof, like why won't people just lie? So that is an issue, right? But I actually don't think it would have to be a big one. I thought a lot about this, right? Because it seems like a possible huge hole in the whole thing is that people could just lie. But then I thought about it and realized that I don't think, if you present it right, I honestly don't think people will. Like, I think if you make it clear that, like, look, this is a game and it's fun, right? But if you just want to get a high score, if it's just for fun, then you should go play Halo. There are more fun games that are fun. If you're doing this, the point must be that you want to make your life better. And I think that actually is a salient enough point that people will see that. So that's what I think about it.
You can into a lot more. You can add a lot more fun to it by having people give them the ability through social networking sites to harass you until you've done something.
True.
And you can reward them, you know, or somebody could, just drove by your house. You didn't take out the trash and you said.
Yeah, there's actually a site that's out now called GetUp. I know that it must be in the air because there are a couple people trying to tackle this problem of habit building and doing it. GetUp isn't quite a habit building site, but it's sort of the same. It's GetUp with 2 P's if you want to check it out. Yeah, go see my competitor in the future. But their whole thing is actually based on shaming you. It's like the function of the site is like your friend, like when you don't do something, it's broadcast on your Facebook page so your friends can tell you what an asshole you are. And I think it would be nice to reward people, but that's just me. That dude.
So what kind of mechanics are you thinking of where, how does it add
challenging for your habits.
Okay, so with the spreadsheet, obviously, we had to go to it, but I think it would be nice if you could set something up so that it texts you, or that it emails you, and just some way of reaching out to the world and nudging you, and just reminding you about this. I think that should do the trick. I don't know, maybe there are more creative ways of doing it, but I think that it can reach out using sort of existing media and poke you. If you tell it to you, right? Then it's like in your settings. That would be annoying if you could turn that off. But someone, yeah.
So what is the process of the game? I still don't understand. How is it a game?
Okay, so how is it a game in the sense that Halo or Metroid or something is a game? It's not, right? Like it's not like fun to play. Like you hit the B button and you jump or whatever. But there's this woman named Jane McGonigal that probably a few of you have heard of, who talks a lot about, you know, layering game stuff on top of things and how to make things into games to enrich the performance. She talks a lot about intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means the thing is just inherently fun to do. And extrinsic motivation is like if you go to McDonald's and then when you check it on Foursquare, you'll get like a point or something, and then that's supposed to like make people buy Big Macs. This actually is definitely extrinsic motivation. I'm sort of artificially taking game mechanics and layering it on top of something. But I think that this is one of those instances where it's actually the right thing to do, because it's taking things that aren't good enough on their own to get you to do them all the time, for whatever reason. It's not that meditation isn't good enough, I really love it, but for whatever reason it wasn't doing it. So I'm like putting this extrinsic thing on it. I don't think I'm answering your question, I'm sorry. So the actual...
Just go through an example. How is the example of meditation?
Okay, so...
How did the game go? I don't know.
Okay, so it's really simple, right? It's basically just, I'll load up, level up on the screen, I'll sign on or whatever, or it'll already know me, and I'll have my sort of slate, right? Like my 4 or 5 habits that I'm working on right now. For what it's worth, my habits right now are meditating, writing in my journal, eating right, and getting a good night's sleep. I define it a little more precisely than that, but that's basically what it is. And those are right there, and there's just a button, and I can click when I've done it, and it'll say like, ding, you know, +1 XP. And if I've been doing it a bunch of days in a row, if I've got a streak going, that number starts going up. You know, after I've been doing it 3 days in a row, I start getting 2 XP for each time that I check it off, and so on and so forth.
Are these activities and rewards pre-populated? Can you just pick them out and check them, or do you have to like input them yourself in order to build the game?
So I see no reason why it couldn't be both, right? I think there should be a menu for people who want to like go browse and then go into like the fitness section and then pick whatever, running or whatever it is. But I'd also like it so that you can type it in, and then whatever you typed in will become part of the sort of public pool, right? Other people can do that. And if multiple people are picking the same thing, like if I type in meditate, and meditate becomes like, I guess, I'm not a technical guy, but I guess it becomes some sort of an object, right, that other people can also select, then I know, and I swear not to use this knowledge for evil, but I know how many people are doing meditate, right? And that means that, it also means that they know that, and they can connect with each other, and it also means that if I go with an advertising model at all, the advertising is more targeted, and maybe I could ask for a little more scratch for the advertising. So does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Oh, and also I think that well, I don't want to, yeah, that's the basic idea. And you can, see how your friends are doing and look at a bunch of like groovy but relatively simple graphs and stuff, like how am I doing this week? Oh shit, I've plateaued, I better step my game up, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I think you created like a fantasy sports type thing where you have like a 3-month period in which each like face a friend each week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think you could probably do that. Create like a little league each couple months.
That's interesting. Or let people create their own whenever they want.
Exactly.
So I've been trying to derive inspiration from the whole whole video game / RPG metaphor, and so we were thinking about what about combat, right? Like player versus player. It's a little hard. There are details. It's hard to work out, but I need to think about it. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. Okay. In the back.
The girl?
The girl.
Yeah.
The one with the 2 X's.
My question would be, how do people remember to go to level up? Like, what's going to be, you know what I mean? Are you planning on integrating it with like Facebook like completely, so it's almost like a Farmville where you can play within the
Okay, that's so. I think that I should integrate it, right? It needs to. You should be able to like show off your avatar and what a badass he is, right? And I thought it would be fun to have a little avatar that's sort of you. And if you're having a really bad day, he's like, if you're having a good day, he's like, ta-da! But I think it should be integrated. I think to remind you to go to it, I think that there's the sort of aforementioned like set it to poke you every now and then. That's like not a very sexy way to do it, but I think that would work. But I think that you should be able to set it to tweet when you do something and so on and so forth. And
Time's up.
thank you, everybody.